Hey everyone, welcome to Opal Oracle. If you're new, if you're returning, hi. Okay, so Scorpio, it's going to be mid-May. I'm actually using the first tarot deck that I ever received. The Queen of Swords is missing from this deck, so there's something, I don't know if I'm going to use this deck for everyone, but for you, you receive it. So there's something about you understanding something, but also being able to understand that there's a need for a new way to look at something, or you'll be gaining like a new way to look at something. Okay? Now, hold on. You get a Celtic cross, mini Celtic cross. I'm going to keep this in the center because it's the only one that flipped itself upright. That is the situation, the challenge. Perfect. Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio for mid-May. Wow. Wow. Hold on a second. Now, it's important that different perspective, okay? Knowing that you have a choice in that perspective, and that in truth, you make reality whatever it is that you want. Now, for some reason, when I said reality, I looked down and I saw this military jacket, right? On the back, it actually says, drop egos, not bombs. And what's really funny about it is when I go out in public, very few people have commented on it. Only one person actually read it correctly and then responded in a way that could also be seen as correctly. Like, he was like, yeah, that's a really wonderfully profound statement to walk around with, you know, versus like Nike or Drama Queen or, you know, what we're expressing to the world without saying anything at all. Now I see that also has a lot to do with energy. Okay? This is in your subconscious. Okay? 9, 10. Which break down to a 10. Which shows me you're subconsciously ending a very tiresome struggle with like who you are. How you're supposed to care for yourself, okay? How you're supposed to express who it is that you are. Particularly, whatever I heard, mental connection you have to your mother that is stressful, like you're cutting ties with that mental pathway. Okay, because what's interesting to me is that you have the Ace of Wands in your past, which shows me, I also heard when I began this, something about you going up the mountain, and then I saw you when I was shuffling, you were at the top of the mountain, and you had this shovel in your hand, and you were about to be like, I don't need this tool anymore, I already dug my way out of this, right? But then you realized that you were actually within an invisible mountain, and you could still use that same tool within that world also. And in one way you found that miraculous. You were like, wow, I figured this out. Like, I finally saw where I am, and I heard who I am, something like that. And then in a way you're like, oh fuck, I still gotta dig all the way up to the top of the second mountain. But it's okay, because you can do it. And you can do it. Your feminine side, male or female, the nurturer, the caregiver, the to give care, right? And of course, we can talk about caring about anybody else, but we really have to care for ourselves. And that really is the truth of the matter, because no one else can really do it for us the way that we want. Unless we have to do it for ourselves, but even after we do it for ourselves, we have to trust that the care that others give us will be done. And I keep hearing the word like expectation. It's not exactly the way that you want, something like that, but that's nitpicky. That's the Queen of Swords sometimes, right? Because there's a possibility that she could have came out here in the reverse, and there's no need for that, okay? So, well, there's that. Scorpio. Now, didn't we talk about letting this out of this cup? It's your challenge. You're still holding some things in. Both these queens are also looking into the past, okay? And so is this one who's kind of hurt in your subconscious. Now, that doesn't mean that your subconscious isn't even... your subconscious is also having a conversation with the other part of you that's like, and this is all masculine, right? It's like, why you're independent sometimes, and then I heard the word expectations again. It gives you all the things that you want, but you still kind of feel alone. But I see that in the future, and even in your conscious position, there are people that are giving you things emotionally. They're giving you things in a three-dimensional way. Maybe financial support, psychological support, making you feel more stable in who you are through that giving, right, and receiving. Because also with these two being the givers, it's like, and this reading is about you. It's always about you. How do we give to others? And I see that the advice is through tarot is that it's important to give to others through your, more within the feminine part of you. To I heard express yourself, but emotionally, okay? The yucky stuff that you hide, the good stuff, but it's mostly good stuff. I really see that. And that is how you'll also put out all this fire that's not doing you any good. I mean, I did hear the word light a fire under your ass. So there's something about, your subconscious is kind of doing that. Like, it's like bubbling you up. Because look, I turn the car, I love how they, I'll put them in different positions because that's just where they're supposed to be, I guess. But you have this fire underneath, and then here's all the water on top. And it's just like heating this up. But then that means this will evaporate, and then what you have is nice, warm feelings that really make you feel stable, that make you feel appreciative for what you've learned, what you're learning, being inspired, gaining more truth about your spirituality also. and how that is more grounding to you. And maybe understanding that, like, maybe for some of you, the family and religion, I heard something about it, like, wasn't exactly conducive to the way that you may have wanted to perceive it, but now you're finding that faith of your own definition is building a family within, like, a soul family. Okay, it doesn't have to be blood related, you know? I do see for most of you, your female friends will play the most important role, or it could also just be male feminine signs, or, you know, people that express, well, that give to you, you know? And if people don't give to you the way that you desire, again, with the kept hearing the word expectation, it's like, well, instead of being frustrated and going within about it, right? Being a little resentful that they weren't as caring as you wanted them to be, what you have to do is, well, speak up and say, you know, what I really need from you right now is, what I really need from you right now is this, this, and that. And I really, you know, when I say this, you know, explain yourself in a way, because you can read minds, and some people can understand you and read your mind a little bit. It depends on whatever. The point is that not everybody has this skill, okay? Truth of the matter. So people process energy, they process body language, everything differently. So people only know what you tell them. And particularly when it comes to your expectations and what it is that you want, well, express what it is that you want. I mean, not in this way, because you won't get anything that way. But if you express it in this way, well, then I see that you receive. Right? I feel I need. This is who I am. When I say this, what I'm actually saying is kind of this. But usually most of the time it takes us a long time to get to know people, right? Not everybody has that intuitive ability all the time, and even if they do, it's a little bit, it can be kind of exhausting to, you know, I have a lot of friends where I have to do that, and I just only recently learned that, like, well, puzzles are fun, and some people, it's okay to speak in riddles. Thanks, Alexandra. And what is a riddle but a poem, right? You're speaking in poetry, which causes more thought behind it, but it all depends on what your expectations are, and expectations goes to time. Okay, so if you're willing to move through the emotions slowly, well, then I see it doesn't matter, like it'll ease out. But if you have a short time period because you're so worried about the future, well, then that will be more stressful. Okay, like wanting to know all the answers right now, that's what's stressful to you. And I know that the family, particularly, I see the mother, or whoever gave to you, whoever was your quote-unquote supposed to be your nurturer, is, not to say that they weren't in some way or another, but there's something about it that wasn't conducive to what you needed as an individual. But again, I think you already understand this, and you're already in the, now this is in the future, like you're, you will only accept this cup if you trust that this person didn't put cyanide in it. You know? I see that you're going to be fine with your finances during this time. And also your creativity is good. I see your magical powers also pretty high. And in stabilizing, this is also your opposite, okay? And also see you being really open-minded, okay? Now, there's always a need with this card on the bottom because he becomes, like, so much a part of his environment. It's hard for him to separate who he is from where he is. And where can be in here, right? Or in here. Where he has been is what it is. He has a hard time separating himself from where he has been because where he has been is always where he is. Okay, so we want to keep more of the Queen of Wands and be like, no, I can do anything. And the Page of Swords, no, I can go anywhere. What do you mean? You know? I also see a fiery air person or really intelligent fire person, people are in your life that got your back. You know? I also see this as you. Well, they're both you, but I specifically see this as you. Even more so than the Queen of Cups. I don't really associate with her with you. Let's see. Let's see your subconscious stress. I want you to get over that. I know you're still a little scared about exposing yourself. It has to do with trust, okay? But that's more water, okay? And this is also Gemini, I communicate. So that goes back to also communicating when you feel, well, stressed out. When you feel really excited. And I also see that sometimes you receive messages from God, but you don't quite trust them. Because God doesn't put something along the path, I don't think anyway, as far as what I can gather, even if it's when it's been really challenging, I'm like, really, why? How come? Does it have to be again? But the thing is it's all part of the path. So if like a person or a place or a job or something, like a new friend, a plant is like repeating in your life, well, it's probably there for a reason. You know? There's traffic, it's probably for a reason. You randomly find a new friend, and then you're like, oh shit, like I'm really starting to open up, like I'm scared. Am I supposed to? I better reel back. I better put my guards up. But you'll never receive this cup if you always have your guard up and your hands full. You know? I heard there's no need for energetic prison. Okay? Look, you cleared. See? This is awesome. You've gone through many battles, Scorpio. Many, 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 many battles. Right? in the day, in the night, in love, in family, in God, in yourself, in your shadow world, in the karma world, and now here you are. The technical first major arcana to come out was the Lovers, okay? So I heard don't worry about what hasn't been. Keep faith. Keep building your friendships, okay? Be open to friendship. Not that you're not, but like really where you want new social dynamics where you can express yourself. Particularly wanting, like, and desiring friendship that is within the things that you want to talk about. I know you don't, you know why you don't like Three of Cups, like, whatever, is because it's too shallow, and you're not, we've been talking about this forever, but, like, really, you're not shallow, you'll never be shallow. That's the end of the story, you know, you're deep. And so, talk to people who are on the same level as you. Again, if God puts someone upon your path, well, they're there for a reason. It doesn't mean that they're going to either, I can't say if they're going to be in your life forever or not. You don't know, right? But if you came across the path, you know, don't analyze it to death where you're like, what's the point of this? You just got to have faith. Because even if something was to happen, well, if you have people on your team, right, in your tribe, in your troop, well, then you're not going to be alone, even if you have to go through something that seems unsavory, you know, or slightly displeasing. And this goes back to ego and expectation, too. I don't see anything, like, crazy happening. Where did this card come from? See that? When I split the deck, it was the sun. Okay? It's all about the heart. Right after this, look. See? You're allowed. I heard you're allowed to have friends. Deep friendships. Okay? Where you love your friends. You're allowed to have deep relationships with people that have a cause a feeling within you. Like, if there are people in your life right now that make you feel like, wow, I've never felt like this before. I am learning so much. It is really inspiring. You know, that could be part of it too. You have 3 aces. That could be part of it too, is where, like, I heard too good to be true. And I heard the word expectation again. Expectations. You know, but the thing is, I keep pulling Temperance. But this is Sagittarius, okay? It's Jupiter, so it's like, yeah, I have all these things, but I want more. You know, it's kind of like, it's never enough. And part of where you, although this is Pisces card, I heard Cancer, but either way, that's either water sign around you, okay? And both of them are water, and you are the desert, so it's like, which way do you go? Forward. Forward. Don't just sit there. Don't just sit there, babe. No way. Don't just sit there. Go. I heard what's the worst, like, you're going in order, okay? There is natural order to life. Nature's order. This card just fell on top of these two, directly in the middle. I see the more that you communicate what it is that you understand, what it is that you want to build, like what it is that you're making, and I heard trusting that other people can participate with you. I heard the freer you will be. Look at that. Okay, you free up all this jazz, whatever you're hanging on to. Well, there you go. People that really understand one another. You don't got to explain anything to this person, and even if you do, they're not going to be pissy that you had to explain yourself. And how that happens is by your gentle feminine side. This is also your original card, right? Ruled by the heart. So you have a lion's heart inside of a scorpion's body. And I know sometimes it can become a little confusing and we don't really know where it is that we're going or why it is that we're here or what's up with this invisible mountain. Good thing I got my shovel, you know, that kind of jazz, but you're going to be fine. This time frame really is about receiving, and it's about in giving, and it's all about how you give that to yourself. This one, Scorpio. Look at that, strength again. I love this deck. Look at that. Really opening up your chakras. Okay? Not letting those masculine chakras take over anymore. It's about your inner child. It's about how you communicate from your center, how you communicate from your heart, how you understand your inner child, and how the conversation between your inner child and your adult self makes a big difference on how you move forward. Okay? And if you need to, I heard mother your inner child. Okay? Let it know it doesn't have to be so stubborn, and in a way it doesn't have to grow up, but it can't. It's like, what's that saying, like, you ain't got to go home but you can't stay here, you know, when you're at like the bar or something, you know. And that's the thing, it's like sometimes I feel like the inner child's like, I don't want it. But the adult, if you're like, get over here right now, you know, the kid's going to be like, oh, no, I don't want it, and will run away or hide or something. And it's like, if you're like, hey, come on, it's this really cool adventure. Don't you want to go? Don't you want to go? They'll be more likely to go. I mean, the road's already paved. Even if it wasn't, it's still a path. An invisible path of the visible mountain. I love it. Alright, take care of yourself, Scorpio. Happy mid-May. Oh, happy new moon in Taurus, by the way. Hold on. Whoa. Wow. Came really close. Alright.